This is Smithy.tv.
Okay. Hey, it's another Monday. You're listening to Kenny Robinson with Breaking Down the News. Today I've got probably one of the closest and dearest friends I made when I first came to Toronto, 30 years ago. Originally known as a dub poet, a promoter. Since then, he's become an award-winning journalist, always an activist, and a hellified entertainer by any which way you want to call it on. Mr. Clifton Joseph.
Hi, except comedy, Kenny, because I know if you remember that time when you inveigled me. Was it a benefit for one of those hurricanes that hit Jamaica?
Yeah, Hurricane Roti or somebody.
I thought it was funny, but I grew so much respect for comedians there.
We had to put a gun against the club owner's head that day to get a fundraiser. And they're going, for who? For Jamaica? What? And this is way before the Nubian show started.
Absolutely,
so,
absolutely. You were doing that kind of excellent work before that.
Somebody's at the door.
Yeah.
Could be the police.
So Kenny, hey, congratulations, man! I just heard about this, and anytime I get an invitation from you, I turn into the Jackson 5.
Oh, look who's
got to
coming in
be
here
there,
now.
got to be there.
Well, absolutely, and plus, the streets, summer's coming and the time is right for dancing in the street.
Absolutely.
So we
burn, baby, burn.
We're dancing in Ferguson and dancing in Baltimore. They say that Chicago could erupt any time.
In fact, I've been wondering how your hometown hasn't been representing yet. Them gangsters are getting weak and...
No, they're too busy black on black killing. They got no time to worry about the police.
Dig.
They're dodging the police. So.
And hey, it's also the 23rd anniversary of the riot on Yonge Street after the Rodney King.
The tipping of the hot dog cart, when all the right wing here start to wring their hands. And can we deport them all? So there's always an overreaction to any kind of civil. But I was saying though, we're the same age group. We come back you've used the quote "burn, baby, burn."
Yeah, old school.
Yeah, and the black youth today can't riot worth shit. No, because in the old days, okay, granted, they took casualties and they gave more casualties, but now they've got nothing better. Now it's like they burned six Korean-owned liquor stores and maybe Miss Palmer's House of Weaves. Two things the black community don't really need in the neighborhood is liquor stores and weave shops.
Or don't own.
But that's nothing. They always say, how could you burn down your own neighborhood?
Yeah, it's not their neighborhood. They don't own it. The liquor stores, the Korean stores, the shops in the neighborhoods are owned by outsiders. So when anger erupts, though, it's like going to a party. And sometimes this is how a riot starts, right?
Yeah.
A guy gets dressed up to go partying with his woman or something and gets stopped for the 50th time and says, you know what? It ends here. You're not messing up my groove tonight, and might slap a cop.
They're not even thinking of it ending here. Just how about stopping this now?
Exactly, and it has to stop too, because to rewind a bit, right? We go back to the beginnings of. I remember when Arnold Miners was on the police board, and he said that the police in Toronto is an occupying force in black neighborhoods.
Did they want to pitchfork him for that?
Oh gosh, yeah. In fact, they kind of whiteballed him a little bit after that. But he's absolutely right. You look at the police force in America, man. The police force started as slave patrols. Cats would come out there to patrol black neighborhoods after slavery to get a list of everybody who's there. Because, there are some people who are like, I'm not going back on that plantation.
Yeah.
I'm going to find some way
absence without leave
of making some money. And I hear criminality is a thing that the capitalism is about. So the police forces in America started as a way to corral black folks, and it's never evolved from that.
That's why when Dog the Bounty Hunter said nigger, I wasn't upset, because I look at him and that's who I expect to say the word. If he didn't, I'd been disappointed.
Dig. The other thing about
if you can't give me a guy with silver tipped cowboy boots and a mullet and knuckleless gloves, if he don't say the N-word, then really nobody in this world should be allowed to. I expected it from him.
Yeah, and of course, you're talking about the word thug in our conversation.
Well, that's another. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Now, thug. See, now I don't like the way how I got an argument with one of the ladies I talked to on Facebook, because the caption of the Baltimore mother hitting her son, I wrote above there. So if the other thugs jump off the cliff, are you gonna jump off the cliff? So she got mad saying, "Why are you calling them thugs?" Why? Because I couldn't call them scholars. And, you know, and then I'm thinking, well, if that was my mother or my aunt, she would have said these other assholes would have. You know, and then I know some friends of mine, their mother would say if the mother niggas did it. You know, so when she started telling me that thug is the new nigger, is the new code word, I'm saying, well, I hate these old code words because I like the old words fine.
Yeah, they should say it. I mean, when the
And
president...
then Obama called them thugs.
When
and the black mayor called them thugs.
Yeah, so what it is, and I mean, there's so many issues around that. So for
And
instance...
Tupac rolled on his body.
We see that we've had a lot of black mayors. You know, there's always this thing about colorism. We've had a lot of black mayors. Baltimore, we have a black president. We got a black prosecutor in Baltimore. We got a black mayor. We got a blacks high up in the police. They brought this dude in from California to try to get a whole bunch of things because Baltimore has been simmering for years, since at least the 50s.
Those are real light-skinned police officials in Baltimore too. You know, if I wasn't of mixed blood myself, I wouldn't be able to know for sure. You got to look and say, how wide is that brother's nostrils? And you go, he almost passed.
But look, he's speaking of black and white, though. Look, here's the thing with the police. We have a new black police chief, right?
Yeah.
And going along before they made the choice, it was actually between two brothers, Mark Saunders and Peter Slowly. Now, here's it ironically that the black political class chose the light-skinned guy, Slowly,
right?
But the white power structure chose the black brother, Mark Saunders.
Because they like their ass whoopers be dark-skinned.
But one thing about all of this black talk and black achievement and so on, I mean, especially since we had the Drone Ranger, black war criminal in waiting, Barack Obama as president. And
you mean my prez?
Oh yeah. Has nothing boo for black folks. Now we have a black police chief. So I think between the time that Obama's been in power for like nearly 8 years now, when his time is up, and we got a black police chief. Now, I mean, finally we can nail the nail in that coffin saying, just because you're black doesn't mean that you're progressive. In fact, they'll put a black out there who is the most right-wing person and take care of business. So we have to get over this whole thing about blackness. We need a redefinition of blackness.
Well, plus it also, it's so beautiful about Richie Pryor, everything. You go
Rest
back
his
to
soul, rest his
you go
soul,
back to some of
Richard.
his earliest stuff. He said the black cops would whoop our ass more than the white cops would, because they're like, I ain't gonna lose my pension over you, little motherfucker. You know, and he said the black cops were more vicious than the white. And then, of course, you know, growing up in Chicago, the black cops that were badass, they were legendary. There was Two Gun Pete. In fact, during the Mark Hampton raid, Mark Clark and Fred Hampton and Mark Clark, when they got killed, there was a black cop.
Black Panthers, yep.
There was a black cop involved in the raid named Gloves Davis. And, you know, they didn't call him, you know, they called him because he used to put the gloves on so it didn't leave no prints or no marks, you know. So he wasn't Miles Davis, he was Gloves Davis, right? So, you know, I mean, anytime you've known in there, I mean, or even if you go back to the old Western movies, you know, they always had some, you know, Apache renegade to track down the ones that weren't going to come back to the reservations.
And of course, there always was my guy, Tonto.
Yeah, well, he just did what he had to do to get along.
But look, we know about black and white cops. I mean, back in the 70s in this town here, we used to call them salt and pepper. Because all of a sudden they started...
And then Miami Vice took it.
Yeah. So we know that, I mean, you know, you can... A black cop... Like, look, when I go to the Caribbean, Kenny, I come back in town, I don't think about racism for a long time. I mean, it's there too, but you're involved in so many things. Then, all before landing, and they bring you your papers to sign up, that's when my mind shifts back into, oh, shit. Then I get out into the place, now I'm looking at all of the immigration officers, and I'm thinking, should I go to that young sister? Or the Asian woman? Or the old white guy? Or the youngish-looking white, hip, Mohawk-looking kind of guy? And I'm all totally confused. So by the time I get to the...
Isn't it nice that you can profile the officials? You are racially profiling the government guards, you know, our border guards.
I'm trying to avoid them sending me to that lineup. You know what I mean?
Which lineup is it?
Well, the lineup that you get there, and there's 3 Asians, 2 Latin Americans, 3 black folks, and they always have like 1 young white guy. to kind of round it out.
They got the mod squad working you. Hey man, you know where I can score some hemp?
but Kenny, look, I dug up some statistics, right? Since 2012, Baltimore, the city of Baltimore has spent $5.7 million on lawsuits,
Yeah,
paying
I
out
heard
lawsuits
that.
for police brutality.
And I laughed at that because you get more than that burning yourself with hot McDonald's coffee. $5 million because I heard a pregnant woman was kicked. I mean, that's not much money to let your police force run wild.
Well, they have a cap. I mean, Baltimore has a cap.
Cap on brutality charges.
Yeah, well, no, they only can give out $200,000.
Oh well.
Places like Texas, they give out $5 million in some cases.
If I got a budget to whoop ass, I say, how much if I dislocate this young teenager's jaw and he didn't do anything except for ask me why he should show ID? Oh, well, we got to pay his family $300 for that one. Well, come here, Skipper. Pow! You know, $5 million is nothing. When you think about it, when you think for getting lawsuits for police brutality, $5 million isn't even a spit in a cup, bruh.
And then here's another thing
Now,
too.
if one family got $5 million after their father or son or brother or daughter had wrongfully left this earth at the hands of the powers that be, then $5 million be a clean, $5 million for all that. That's like Canadian payoffs.
Well, sometimes people just want to go back to their normal lives. So some cases it's 300,000, sometimes 200,000, sometimes people take 30,000 just to get the police off, and sometimes these cases go on and on and on and on. Another interesting thing about Baltimore too is that even though a lot of these officers are charged, they're not actually dealt with any kind of disciplining measures by the Internal Affairs Department.
You mean the officers in this?
Any of the officers?
Well, no, because Baltimore's been, as you said, it's been simmering for a long time.
Oh,
and who
absolutely.
in the hell really wants to be a Baltimore cop? So if you can find somebody willing to wear that uniform in Baltimore with everything it is, I mean, a lot of people are saying making Wire references over it, but Baltimore's been a bad town for a long time.
Absolutely. A lot of towns in America are bad, bad, bad. Chicago, New York, Detroit, LA.
Yeah, so I mean,
get
how
a
much
lot
are
of
you
that
going to
play,
really
but
fire somebody in Detroit knowing that, it's hard to find somebody that wants to wear the Detroit Police Department uniform. You give them, you got to, sometimes you got to look the other way and go, it ain't a nice job. We're not hiring choir boys.
No. So yeah, I mean, police. I think unfortunately, it's probably going to be a hot summer because we see it happening. We see
So many places.
that the police. You'd think that they back off after so many incidents lately and so many pushbacks by black communities from Ferguson to all over the place.
Do you know where there isn't any trouble and there should be? We've got to wrap this segment up.
Alaska?
We have 2 minutes. Well, no, Alaska. Brother up in Alaska deserve whatever trouble he gets.
There's got to be a couple of Nigerians and Jamaicans up there. There's got to be somebody.
Any trouble they get, then them brothers got no business being up there, and they up there for no good purposes. Okay, I don't give a shit. I don't care what family they got, what educate. They up there for bad purposes. If there's a Nigerian or Jamaican in Alaska, okay, maybe that sounds like I'm rolling my own people under the bus. Then let it be.
We are everywhere,
but
But
if they up there, they for a bad purpose. But Tulsa, Oklahoma, they had that old guy that been donating money to the police department, and they caught the kid in 76-year-old volunteer cop, and they caught the guy with the guns, with the gun sale.
This is recent?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, he went to taser him. They already had enough cops laying on him, sitting on him. Went to taser him. And he grabbed a run gun and shot him. And as the guy's laying there dying, he goes, I can't breathe. And this cop says, fuck your breath.
Yeah.
Okay, but, and then they released him on bail because him and his daughters and his wife had planned a family vacation in the Bahamas. So right now, the dude they shot in Oklahoma is dead. And this officer... And and they shown that he didn't already finish all the training. Wasn't really was supposed to have these weapons and stuff. Him and his family are in the Bahamas right now. Mm-hmm. So with pay. And he was already rich. He was a volunteer cop. He used to donate money in cars to the police department. So a joke I made at the most recent Nubian show was, well, at least if he had gone to Jamaica, we know he would have got done. But pie. We shouldn't embrace this
Tulsa
murder
too.
culture.
You mentioned Tulsa,
Well,
Oklahoma.
that's what happened.
That's when they bombed the black folks in 1920.
And that's why
Tulsa.
they ain't gonna burn Tulsa because they got theirs a long time ago. We learned a long time ago in Oklahoma. So everywhere else may be hot, but the dude that was really wrong is in the Bahamas now, because it's better in the
Oh yeah,
Bahamas
yeah.
after
He
you shoot
clearly was. He was
suspect.
just a sugar daddy for the police department and a would-be cop.
Yeah.
The other thing, though, to finish the whole thing, Kenny, is that how many fucking policemen does it fucking take to take one motherfucker down?
Depends on the fight in the motherfucker.
No, but in most of these cases, you got like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10
Yes.
cops.
That's because one-on-one can't do it, and two-on-one can't do it.
For a pregnant lady in some cases.
Oh, well, okay. I was talking about the average pregnant lady. I was talking about the average brother that wasn't going to jail that
Come
night.
on, you got training, you got military training, you got
Yep.
takedown training, and so on, right? So why does it take? Did you see that thing on Facebook where they got where some Swedish cops were visiting have vacation in New York, and there's a fight breaks out in the subway, and the dudes just went and surgically just talked to everybody and cooled things out. Because the police have been come in America, especially come from slave patrols and what they used to call night patrols, they have never evolved from being nothing but a cover for Ku Klux Klanism. And the American government, including our black president, that drone ranger, slave to the 1% status quo and war criminal, warmonger in waiting Barack Obama, has not done nothing. You see Holder, his ex-attorney general,
Yeah.
got a job with one of them big companies for $67 million.
Well, that's what happens when you leave that gig.
Damn, $67 million.
That's why you try to go to a better school when you're young. So, anyway, that covers it.
I went to York instead of U of T. There was
Yeah,
more
well,
action
see,
up at York.
if you had McGill, no telling what kind of money you would have been bought out by now. Anyway, this is my guest, Clifton Joseph. I'm Kenny Robinson.
Ow,
That's
ow,
breaking down the news.
ow, break it
and
down.
Stick around because we're going to break down some more shit for you.